Hey guys, Sam here with another mixdown mastery video, and in this one we're going to be looking at how to tighten up our drum section or just parts of our song in general by using the ADSR envelope. Most importantly, the decay, for a few reasons, but often when people talk about mixing down, especially drum sections, they will refer to EQ as the most important. And I do agree with that. EQ is absolutely essential. But there's often one thing that's overlooked, which is the tail and sort of shape of the samples that people are using. So if you do work with samples in your drum, for your drums, which you probably do, unless you synthesize them, you're probably not going to have a sample that works 100% perfectly with your song. Sometimes you might spend a lot of time looking for a sample and it might work really well and that's fine, but a lot of the time you're going to have to make some sort of change to it to make it fit a little better. So like I said earlier, we're going to be looking at the ADSR of each sample and just sort of adjusting it to make the whole drum section fit better. Now, this isn't just limited to drums. If you have bass sounds that have a little bit too much tail or too much transient, you might want to adjust that as well. And it's just a really good way to get the space in your mix, and it's also a good way to get rid of elements that are clashing together. For example, if you've got a kick and a bass that hit at exactly the same time, maybe reducing the attack on the bass might help them work a bit better together. But in this video, we're looking at the drum section only, but like I said, you can apply this to anything. So I'm just going to play what we've got at the moment, which is pretty much an untreated drum loop. Now, that doesn't sound too bad, but there's ways we can make it a little bit more tighter and a little bit cleaner. So it's pretty unorganized, but here we go. Okay, so this comes down to preference a bit and how you want it to sound, but I might, for example, think that my clap is too long, so I could solo this and start pulling the decay down. Now I'll have a listen to it. And already I find that that sounds better, personally, to me. Now if you want a long clap, that's fine. There's nothing stopping you. But in this case, I didn't need that tail, and taking it off actually cleaned it up a little bit. Now with the hi-hats, a little bit of a different story. Normally you don't need to do much to them, but it's always good to just get rid of some of that extra tail that you don't really need. So obviously don't affect the sound too much. So you'll notice that you get that ringing afterwards if you don't pull the decay down. Now of course, if you want that, fine. I'm looking at cleaning up the mix, so I'm going to pull this down a little bit. I'll do the same with the second hi-hat. And you don't have to do this all the time, but it does help. This is a bit of a tough one because there's, I believe there is, so this is a loop here, so if we look at one at a time, that one's not too bad. In fact, I might just leave that one as it is to have some variation in there, because if you have everything too short without enough decay, it'll sound, it won't flow as well. You'll have too much perceived transient in there, and it'll make it worse rather than better. Okay. So now we've got this. And in my opinion, that sounds a little bit better already. So I'm just going to do a before and after comparison here. So at the start we had this. Now I've got this. Sounds quite a lot different. Might not be what you're after, but in a full song, that's going to help you clean up your mix a lot. And like I said, you can do this with other elements as well to make the whole song fit better. And I would normally do something like this before EQing. So now I could go in and, high pass my clap. Oh, there you go, it's already high passed. And things like that, and just help it sit a little better. But playing around with the time, what's the word? Time values of a sample helps immensely when it comes to your mix. And yeah, try it out in your own productions, see how it helps. And at the end of the day, remember that your ear is the final judge. If it sounds good, it probably is good. So keep that in mind, and thanks for watching.